play a game, shall we? It's called Guess Who Said It, but none of these quotes are from Trump or any Republican. These quotes are straight from top Democrats. And you'll see real quick that they don't change for morals, they change for votes. Let's begin, shall we? Marriage is between a man and a woman. I do not support gay marriage. You'd assume conservative, right? Nope. Joe Biden, 2006.
I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Now he pretends he's been pro-LGBT forever. Nope, turns out he just waited until it's politically safe. Next quote. Marriage has always been between a man and a woman. Any guesses? Hillary Clinton, 2004. When public opinion flipped, boom, so did she.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. I have had occasion in my life to defend marriage, to stand up for marriage, to believe in the hard work and challenge of marriage.
And not out of conviction, just calculation. Next one. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the US undocumented and unchecked. Sounds like Trump, right? Nope. It was Barack Obama, 2005.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. But after you've done these things over a certain period of time, you can earn your citizenship. So that it's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it, but over time, you give people an opportunity.
And now his party calls border control racist. They didn't grow compassion, they just grew poll numbers. This is fun, let's continue. Who said, I don't want my children growing up in a racial jungle? It was Joe Biden, 1977. He was talking about school busing and integration.
We keep talking about this thing as being north versus south. That's not the issue. It is rural versus urban. And most of the busing that's taken place to date has taken place in rural areas, whether it's be administratively ordered or court ordered. Now we're moving into applying the same standards to urban areas. And it is a standard that doesn't make sense. It doesn't apply. It doesn't hold. We're moving from trying to, in urban areas, we've had integrated facilities but segregated neighborhoods. And in rural areas, we've traditionally had integrated neighborhoods but segregated facilities. And they've applied the same standard and the same test. So this north-south thing is not really the issue. As Professor Nathan Glazer at Harvard has indicated, as Dr. Armour of the RAND Corporation, as James Coleman, as I just held 3 days of hearing, two days of hearings in the Judiciary Committee on another bill I have, beyond this that deals with busing. And there is uniform opinion of those who testified that it is not a north-south, it's an urban-rural question, a distinction.
But no matter what your intent, there are going to be those who say it's a segregated thing, it's a question of race, and that you have set back the movement of desegregation of schools. How would you answer that?
The way I answer that is I predict that the young black leadership of America will overwhelmingly decide with me. I predict that in 1980 and 84, my position will be totally vindicated by the sociologists and by the civil rights advocates. You know, I come from that side of the track. That's where I'm from. I was a defense lawyer. I handle civil rights cases. I sat in on Route 40. I mean, I'm not from the other side of this. And I happen to think that the one way to ensure that you set the civil rights movement in America further back is to continue to push busing, because it's a bankrupt policy.
Now he lectures everyone about racism, but back then he was afraid his children would be on a school bus with black kids. And in case any liberal wants to make the claim, that was 1977, Joe Biden changed. Here's another quote. This one's from 2007 when he was referring to Barack Obama. And I quote, I mean, you got the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. Excuse me? What about 2020 Biden? And I quote again, if If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or for Trump, you ain't black. Sorry, what?
And you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
When you got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice-looking guy.
Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationist senators, Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy. He always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done.
The senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them.
Using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain, and we need a presidential nominee and the leader of our party to be sensitive to that.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little bit.
As also noted, Robert C. Byrd was a parliamentary library, a keeper of the institution of the Senate, and he was the institution itself. For a lot of us, he was a friend, and he was a mentor, and he was a guide.
1987, he bragged about getting an award from George Wallace.
Biden bragged about an award from the notorious segregationist Governor George Wallace and told the Philadelphia Inquirer, "I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people."
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Biden was remarking to an audience in South Virginia that included hundreds of black voters.
If Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
The reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
One thing Biden is being slammed for is the crime bill he helped write 25 years ago.
Next quote, I voted for the border fence. I don't think we should reward people who broke the law to get here. That's Chuck Schumer, 2009. Now he's crying on camera talking about inhumane policies. Amazing how fast they switch up. And here's the kicker. None of them have ever really denounced these quotes. No real apologies, no big speeches saying, hey, I was wrong. They've just quietly pretended that they've always believed what's popular right now.
And we all knew that. We all knew that from the jump. Well, every time we try to tell y'all, y'all call us Uncle Toms. Every time I try to tell y'all the truth, y'all want to call us all types of names and take our black cards, whatever that may be. But now you see for yourself. Now it's up to you to do your research. It's up to you to go read and research and then come to your own conclusions like we did. That's it. Ain't no hate over here. We love you. We pray for you. We pray God deliver you and save you. Not from a party, but for heaven, for real. For real. Listen, we care. We really care. It ain't about a party. It's about you coming into truth that will ultimately lead you to the truth of God, that will ultimately lead you to the truth about salvation. And, you know, we'll see you in heaven. We'll see you when we glorify with Christ and we are rejoicing and we can talk about this and laugh about it later on. Until then, y'all be blessed. Like, share, subscribe. This is J.Thomas. I'm out. Peace.
Search me, Lord, and on my ways. Cut through all the crowd and praise. Try my heart and test my soul. Make me real. Make me